Game 3 of the World Series is happening tonight in Los Angeles. We have live coverage from Dodger Stadium. This is where the Jays are expected to talk to the media this hour.
Even though the Jays are on-the-road, fans are right there with them, coming together at watch parties all over the city, and we're at the biggest one happening inside Rogers Center.
Well, the ad that caused the breakdown and the latest back and forth of tariffs with the U.S. President Donald Trump, we have reaction from Premier Doug Ford and the opposition.
And travel time on the Gardner is getting back to normal. Lanes have reopened ahead of schedule. We have the breakdown and reaction.
This is Live at 5. Good evening. I'm Bakari Savage.
And I'm Phil Perkins. Thanks for joining. Well, we are 3 hours away from the first pitch of Game 3 of the World Series.
And we're live inside Dodger Stadium. The Fall Classic is shipped to Los Angeles for the next 3 games starting tonight. So the Jays and Dodgers tied with a game apiece. As after the Jays won the series opener and the Dodgers won Game 2.
Yeah, that was a tough one. But the Jays will try to regain the lead in the series. Max Scherzer, Mad Max on the mound, and CTV's Raheem the Dream Ladani joining us from Dodger Stadium. Do you think Mad Max can turn it back to the series against the Seattle Mariners and have a game of the ages, literally?
Hey, Phil. Hey, Bakari. I mean, the Jays need Max Scherzer to deliver tonight, right? I mean, they need him, and there's one reason why he is starting in Game 3, and that's because he was a former Dodger. He played for the team in 2021, and John Schneider said that he's hoping that he can kind of settle things down, take the crowd out of it early. He knows he's not going to be overwhelmed by this hostile crowd. Now, a lot of people are about to enter this stadium. The gates are going to open in a couple of minutes. And the reason why we're up here on the top deck and not on the field level is because I want to show all the viewers here just how much media is here. Take a look. Down the first base line is most of the Canadian media, and as we continue to pan left, you can see down the third base line are most of the American media, and if you go further, it's a lot of the Japanese media. There are well over 100 cameras here, so many reporters from many different outlets. This is the biggest stage in baseball, and it really gives you a demonstration of the gravity of what's at stake here. This is Game 3 of the World Series. It doesn't get any bigger than this, and it feels like this is an important game because it can really change the momentum. Right now, the Dodgers kind of have their swagger back, I'd say, both the players and also the fans that we've been talking to. After Game 1, there was a little bit of trepidation, right? A lot of people weren't expecting the Blue Jays to show out the way they did. But after Game 2, people are saying, oh, hey, those are the Dodgers we know and we've seen all season. So now the pressure kind of shifts back to the Toronto Blue Jays. They've been great on the road. They've won 3 out of their 5 road games in this postseason. 1 in New York, in the Bronx, and 2 in Seattle. Now they're tasked with getting it back, and they're going to need a strong performance, Phil, as you mentioned, from Max Scherzer.
And, you know, Raheem, you filmed David Schneider walking through Dodger Stadium, the field in particular, barefoot. He's always been a pretty chill guy. These seem to be a pretty chill team. They're able to turn the page after a loss. Are you getting vibes from the team, if you went to any media avails at all, how they're feeling ahead of this pivotal game?
So the avails haven't happened just yet for the Toronto Blue Jays, but I can tell you, Phil, that they're pretty even keel. What we've seen from the Jays team all postseason is that even when they're winning, they're not getting too high, and when they're down, even when they were down 2-0 in the ALCS against the Seattle Mariners, they were never getting too low. You know what the one constant is don't talk to Max Scherzer on game day. A lot of questions have been surrounding that, saying, when do you talk to Max? When is it comfortable to talk to him? And I want to play a clip right now, and you can get a sense of how the players feel about their own teammate. Take a listen.
Do you talk to him?
No.
Does he scare you on his start days?
Yes.
Do I? No. He says you can talk to him before he puts the headphones on, but I'm just not crazy.
You can talk to him until he puts his headphones on. If you try to talk to him with his headphones on, he will kill you.
Somebody tried to give him a high five or something pre-game.
So I messed up. No one told me not to talk to him. He got out of a jam. I think it was in like the 3rd inning. I went to high five him and walked right past me, so I patted him on the butt. He had some choice words for me, and then we had a laugh after.
Been very close to being run over when he's coming around corners, and
There's no stopping.
I want to ask him about it, but I'm scared of him.
I just say hi when he get here, and that's it. When he finish, you can talk to him. But when he ends in the mound, nah.
Can people talk to you on start days?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well,
Now, I don't think a lot of people are going to have any issues with Mad Max. Yeah, go ahead, Bakari. Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just going to say that I think you have that same thing in your contract, right? Once the headphones come on, the IFB goes in, no one's allowed to talk to you either, right?
Well, with that, we're going to have to cut out and go to Ernie Clement. This is the media avail for the Jays. CTV's Raheem the Dream Ladani. We'll check back in with you in a little bit.
That nickname's going to stick. I'm
It
telling
is.
you. All right, here is Ernie Clement, my favorite player.
Show up and support us, but it'll be a little different atmosphere out there today.
And right behind the last question.
Ernie, congratulations on the Gold Glove finalist. You're nominated in 2 positions, utility and third base. What has it mean to you to work with guys like Andres Jimenez, Bo Bichette, and how much of that work has put you in this position?
Yeah, it's been great. You mentioned Andres. He's, I think the best defender in the world. And Bo Bichette works his tail off and has gotten so much better over the last few weeks, a few months, and few years. I've gotten to watch him just grow turning into a really, really solid defender. And it was cool to see him come back and play second base and do a great job for us. You learn a little bit of something from everybody. Everybody's a different baseball player in their own right. So, I've picked little pieces from everybody. It's been awesome.
The third row across the aisle, Mike.
Hey, Ernie. We've heard from you guys about your confidence in each other. We've heard from sort of the national media about how you guys are kind of unknown. I don't know if you heard, but back in the first round, I think at some point when you were having that big day against the Yankees, someone said, Ernie Clement, nobody's ever heard of this guy. How do you react to that level of underdoggedness of people just being surprised to find out about the Blue Jays?
Yeah, I think it's great. I've been overlooked a lot over the course of my career, so that's nothing new there. So I don't mind that one bit. And when you fly under the radar and you play really, really well, people start to pick up on it. But I'd rather be under the radar. I think it's great, and I'm used to it.
And what do you think about being here for the World Series in this historic place, one of the oldest stadiums in the game, and it's so much, Dodger history?
Yeah, I'm a big baseball history guy. I absolutely just love that part of the game. And, when you get to play in, at Boston and Fenway Park and Wrigley and all these old stadiums, there's just so much cool baseball history that's happened over the, course of, time. And I'm honored to be a part of that. And you don't take a second for granted out there on these really cool, just baseball places. I'm really excited to get out there.
Stay there with Gabe.
Hey, Ernie. Your ability and your team's ability to make contact is certainly both pretty well above league average. From your perspective, is that something that you've fostered at earlier levels of baseball, or is it something that can be taught, developed, and nurtured at the highest level of the game?
Yeah, that's always been a strength of mine. And there's been times throughout my career where, I've had people tell me, oh, we want you to, hit for more power and all this stuff getting away from my strengths. And I've, over the last few years, I've realized that I need to lean into those strengths. And, I've kind of just gone all in on the contact thing. So I think it works for a lot of guys. And I think it's no accident that our front office and our coaches have, put together a team of guys who can make contact. So it's something that we've bought into, and it's turned into our team identity and our offensive identity. So, I think we're going to continue to lean into that.
Fifth row, your left, Tyler.
All right, it's Ernie Clement, third baseman for the Toronto Blue Jays, heading into this pivotal Game 3 in the World Series at Dodger Stadium, talking about being overlooked most of his career. And what's it like to welcome Bo Bichette back to the starting lineup? He'll be starting at second base.
Yeah, what'd you make of that part? He's used to being overlooked.
Well, he has been. I think he's making, it's crazy to say out loud, but he's making $1 million a year up against a guy like Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who's making tens of millions of dollars a year. Shohei Ohtani making also close to $1 billion. And here's this guy having one of the best postseasons ever, hitting-wise, in the playoffs right now in baseball history. And so that's kind of part of it. He kind of exemplifies this team, that it's not just superstars up top, it's that bottom of the order that seems to be producing for this team.
Okay, we're going to continue our coverage, live coverage, not only from LA at Dodger Stadium, but also the parties happening at Rogers Center. Okay, for fans who can't make it to the West Coast, lots of watch parties, including the one. It's sold out at Rogers Center.
And all for Jay's care as well. CP24's Andrew Brennan loves a party, so we sent him there and paid him.
Yeah, well, first of all, I just like people. I don't care if they're partying or congregating. Yeah. It's not the function. It's the people functioning at said function. That's a junction. What's your function? I'm sorry, that guy confused me for a second. But you know who's never overlooked? Ernie Clement. Ever. I know he feels that he's been overlooked by the baseball public, but not Trinity. We have Tiana, Trinity, and Faith here. And by the way, some of them are here from the West Coast, by the way. And we'll start, Trinity. Do you feel like Ernie Clement should never be overlooked?
No, he has over 22 defensive runs saved this season. I think it's one of the best Blue Jays there is.
And if he was here right now, what would you tell him beyond the fact that he is clearly never going to be overlooked in your eyes?
You got this, Ernie. We're all proud of you. I came from BC just to watch you play. You got this.
And by the way, just before we bring in Tiana and Faith, we all appreciate you right now. What jersey do you happen to be wearing right now? She's a Clementine. Being his Clementine? I'm sorry, that just came out at the wrong time. But Tiana, how are we feeling? You guys are going to be going inside to watch the game tonight?
We are, that's correct.
And how are we feeling?
Oh, we're so excited. Oh my goodness. The way here was an adventure for sure. I'm excited to be in there.
So part of the adventure is I caught you guys as you were doing a couple of Instagrammable photos earlier, and that's how we became friends. So Faith, are you excited to be inside, or are you more excited to be cold outside talking to a stranger?
I'm more excited to be inside with everybody and just have the environment cheering on the Jays.
Now, one of my favorite things to do with Gen Z and Gen Alpha is because everyone has social anxiety now, and I know it sucks. But just by the way, props to you for being so well spoken about the person on this team you care about the most. You got George Springer on the back. Do you want anything for George? Anything we want to say to George?
We love you, George. Oh my goodness, me specifically. If you're watching this, I love you.
Oh, we can all dream. We're going to just say, let's go Blue Jays, and then try to get out of this as cleanly as possible. Mostly because you guys have to go inside. They're opening the door soon. So, Gen Z, may you please not be socially awkward and say, let's go Blue Jays.
Let's go Blue Jays!
I think that's a good place to end. Tiana, Trinity, Faith, very nice meeting you. They came all the way from Hamilton. That was their adventure, but by way of BC. And are you from the GTA?
No, I'm from Ottawa.
We won't judge you too harshly.
Kitchener.
That's cool. All right, from BC, Kitchener, and from Ottawa, Jays fans watching the game inside, even though the game is several thousand kilometers away. They don't care. This is where the fun is. Back to you both.
Okay, live outside of Rogers Center, CP24's Andrew Brennan. It's 5:13, 9 degrees. This is Live at 5.
Well, when we come back, Premier Doug Ford has paused his anti-tariff ad that angered President Donald Trump, but not before it ran during the first two games of the World Series where everyone was watching. We'll have the latest on the fallout from the controversial commercial.
Well, the province is looking to scrap fixed election dates and increase the limit for political donations.
Now, the Ford government introducing legislation at Queen's Park today. Ontario's Attorney General described fixed date elections as American style and says doing away with them will better position the province to respond to changing circumstances and threats. The current rules still allow governments to call elections sooner. The bill would also increase the amount a person can give to a political party from $3,400 a year to $5,000. And a supervised consumption site in Toronto says that the province has cut off its funding and it'll have to wind down service in the next 30 days.
The Parkdale Queen West Community Health Center says that this will force people to use drugs in parks, washrooms, shelters, and elsewhere. The center's sister site had already closed and transitioned to a homelessness and addiction recovery treatment hub, also known as a heart hub. A law that came into effect earlier this year banned consumption sites located within 200 meters of a school or daycare, and a number of those sites had agreed to transition to the new abstinence-based model.
We want to offer people pathways to treatment, pathways out of addictions. And so the money that was being spent at a consumption site, essentially ensuring that people continue to use deadly drugs, is actually being transferred to a heart hub that's going to give people hope and a pathway out.
Well, the Parkdale Queen West Community Health Center issued a statement that reads in part, quote, "We know that harm reduction services are often a gateway to long-term recovery. Without them, some of our most vulnerable will be pushed into greater danger, and the very issues that concern our neighbors, overdoses, discarded equipment, and public drug use will increase, not decline." And outreach worker Diana Chan McNally posted, quote, "Closing a supervised consumption site doesn't make the need for them disappear. And I know I worked front line before sites were open. I was finding people in drop-in center bathroom stalls and breaking their ribs performing CPR. Why are we doing this?"
Well, Premier Doug Ford's pausing an ad that angered U.S. President Donald Trump, leading to him terminating trade talks with Canada and also hiking tariffs on Canadian goods.
High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars.
The ad from the Ontario government criticizes tariffs by citing a speech from former U.S. President Ronald Reagan. On Friday, Ford announced that he would pause the ad, but not until after it ran during the very much watched Games 1 and 2 of the World Series. Trump then announced that he would be imposing another 10% tariff hike on Canada.
Trump spoke to reporters on Air Force One today and was asked about the Reagan ad.
Ronald Reagan loved tariffs. He used them sparingly, which he probably would make a mistake. He made a mistake in that. And again, I was the biggest fan of Ronald Reagan, but on finance, on trade, it wasn't his strong suit. But he liked tariffs, and they totally changed that to say that he didn't, because they're catering to the Supreme Court. Because Canada's been ripping us off for a long time.
Prime Minister Mark Carney spoke with the ASEAN summit in Malaysia today and commented on trade talks with the U.S.
From the perspective of the federal government, which I'm responsible, we stand ready to pick up on those discussions when the United States wishes to pick up on those discussions. So those in the room, those exchanging term sheets, those having the discussions about specific areas where we can make mutual progress to the benefit of workers and businesses and communities in our respective countries, had been making progress. Those ads came, the president had the reactions which you have seen, made the decisions that he has made, which, you know, those are his decisions to take, and we're in the situation we're in.
CP24's Beatrice Vaisman joins us live from Queen's Park for the latest on the fallout from the controversial commercial. Beatrice, you've gotten a lot of feedback.
Yeah, I mean, it's different depending on who you're talking to. You watch the ad on your screen just now. We've been playing it for about a week now, so our viewers knew that this ad was coming. It ran during Games 1 and 2 of the World Series. Massive audience, of course. And so because of that massive audience, combined with the fact that it was up on social media and the Premier's office telling us just a couple of hours ago that over the course of 7 days, it had 11 billion impressions on social media. What does that mean? That's how many times people interacted with this advertisement. So because of the wide-reaching scope of this advertisement, the conversation that the Premier feels as though it has started, he's calling it essentially a home run. Here's more from Premier Doug Ford.
If it wasn't the ad, he'd look out the door or the window, President Trump, and say, oh, the leaves have turned color. Let's stop. Believe me, President Trump is not putting a deal together to benefit Canada. It's our job, it's the Prime Minister's job to get a deal that benefits all of Canada. My job is to protect jobs here in Ontario. And one sector, there's many sectors, one is their auto sector. Hide nor hair, no one's speaking about auto. I'm speaking about auto.
Of course, there are thousands of jobs on the line in the auto sector and the steel and aluminum sector. We saw what happened with Stellantis and some 3,000 jobs at the Brampton plant last week. Those are all on the line. The Premier, though, says he showed the advertisement to Prime Minister Mark Carney and Carney's chief of staff before it aired in the U.S. Keep in mind, Carney paid a visit to Premier Ford's home recently. He was here in Toronto for Blue Jays Media Day on Thursday. He met with the Premier then. There would have been lots of time to pull the plug on the ad if that's what the feds wanted. Today, the Prime Minister is saying, hey, leave negotiations to us. It falls under federal purview. We'll deal with it. And certainly he's acknowledging the fact that this advertisement has hampered the trade talks that have now been ongoing for almost a year between Canada and the U.S. As for opposition leaders, they feel as though the Premier should stay in his lane and focus instead on protecting jobs here in this province. Here's Liberal leader John Fraser.
Any high school student, when they took an action, would say, if I do this, what might happen? Like, could I give Donald Trump like an excuse, a card to play, a drum to beat? It was not just poor judgment, it was thoughtless. And you can see that reflected in the Prime Minister's comments and the comments of other thoughtful people. The Premier should stay in his lane.
As for how much these ads cost, we know it was supposed to be $75 million for these ads to run through February. The Premier now saying it's going to cost a fraction of that because they've now been pulled effective today. But certainly it has started a conversation, not necessarily in a great way, because we now see the fallout. The U.S. president saying, I'm not talking to Canada anymore, and threatening these 10% tariffs on all goods not covered under the Canada-U.S. trade agreement, 10% on top of the tariffs that already exist. Canada not getting a great deal right now. Back to you.
Yeah, it's a tough one. All right, that's Beatrice Vaisman inside Queen's Park. Thanks so much, B. It is 5:23. It is 9 degrees outside. Watching live at 5.
Well, increased levels of poverty and hunger, they're becoming normalized in Canada. This is according to a new report. We'll take a closer look at the findings next. A concerning new report from Food Bank Canada says that increased level of poverty and hunger, they're becoming normalized in Canada.
Yeah, we seem to talk about it weekly now. 2025 hunger count looked at data from the country's 5,500 food banks. The report found 1 in 5 people who rely on the food banks have jobs. That is a 99% increase from 2019. The report also found that across the country, a third of food bank clients are kids.
It does shock me to see the number of people who have jobs coming to food banks. That's a real concern. You know, we polled and saw that it is every sector, every type of job, from construction to receptionists. Like, folks are needing to stop at the food bank on their way home from work rather than the grocery store. And it's really shocking to see just how far people are falling behind every single month. And as you said, this is becoming the new normal in Canada, and it can't be. We need to see this number reverse next year.
Food Banks Canada is calling for legislative changes to tackle the crisis, including modernizing the EI system and making life more affordable by investing in housing.
It is 5:26. It feels like 7 outside. You're watching live at 5.
Well, the World Series shifts to Los Angeles for the next 3 games, starting with Game 3 tonight. The Jays, Dodgers tied at a game apiece. We're going to take you live to California coming up.
Here's a live look at Chavez Ravine. Game 3 of the World Series happening in Los Angeles. We have live coverage from inside Dodger Stadium, where the Jays are expected to speak with reporters.
And even though the Jays are on the road, fans are right there with them, coming together at watch parties all across the city. We're live at one of the biggest. It's happening at Rogers Center.
And it'll be quicker to get there. Travel time on the Gardner back to just kind of slow. Lanes have reopened ahead of schedule. We have the breakdown.
This is Live at 5.
Good evening. I'm Phil Perkins.
I'm Bakari Savage. Welcome to Live at 5.
We are less than 3 hours away from first pitch of Game 3 of the World Series.
We're live inside Dodger Stadium. The Fall Classic, it has shifted to Los Angeles He'll be there for the next 3 games starting tonight. Jays, Dodgers tied a game apiece after the Jays won the series opener and the Dodgers won game 2.
Yeah, but Yamamoto is not pitching again for Game 3. The Jays will try to regain the lead in the series with Max Scherzer, the ageless wonder. CTV's Rahim Ladani joins us live. There he is, looking over top of Dodger Stadium. Firstly, how's the weather? How are you wearing a jacket? I checked. It was like 30 degrees. What's going on?
Phil, it was cold in the morning. We've been up since 2 a.m. Pacific time, all right? And now we're in the nice shade. We're saving ourselves from the California sun, so it's not too bad right now. It's beautiful out here, though. How's it in Toronto?
It's decent fall day. The only camera we're looking at is Ottawa, but clear skies, kind of chilly.
Kind of chilly. It's chilly.
Yeah, definitely not Southern California.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
So here's the thing. Is it going to be hot enough for the Jays to win, to bring the heat, make the Dodgers sweat at home?
I like that transition.
Yeah.
I like that transition, Bakari. And the answer to that is, we're going to see, right? I mean, the Jays know that this is the biggest game of their season right now because they're trying to stop the Dodgers' momentum that they gained in Game 2. This is a big test for the team, but they've shown that they can be they can play very well on the
Third.
2 in Seattle. So they have the pedigree to do that. Now the question is, can they deliver in this hostile crowd here in Los Angeles? There's a lot of blue in the stadium. However, it's Dodger blue. Everybody here is wearing a Dodgers jersey. There are a couple Blue Jays fans sprinkled in, but it's going to be a very different atmosphere, of course, from the Rogers Center, but also very different from the road games in the ALCS. There are a lot of Jays fans out in Seattle. That's not going to be the case right now because locals here in LA are holding on to their tickets. Have a listen to what Ernie Clement had to say about the atmosphere tonight.
Yeah, the energy that our fans bring it's a huge piece of the puzzle for this team, and we've enjoyed playing at home for the last couple months, and it's just been so cool to see all the people show up and support us. But it'll be a little different atmosphere out there today.
Now, one way the home crowd will be taken out of this game is if Max Scherzer on the mound for the Toronto Blue Jays delivers a stellar performance. He is the ageless wonder. Mad Max, the 41-year-old, he's played in this ballpark a lot of times. He was on the Dodgers back in 2021, and that's one of the reasons why John Schneider said he wanted to.
Just show his face.
Bench boss is saying about Max Scherzer right now.
Is he talking to us or talking?
Max has had some struggles early, but this guy's a great competitor. He's going to make pitches, and I think the key for all of us is there's just got to be relentless at-bats 1 through 9. And, he's going to look for spots to sort of catch his breath, manage his pitch count. But I do believe that if we can continue to stress him, keep having to make pitches, and he's going to, revert to the secondaries, the slider, the curveball when it gets hot. And we just got to be willing to kind of grind him. And if we can do that, I like our chances. But again, we got a tough task. He's a big game pitcher, and he knows our guys as well as we know him.
And on the mound for the LA Dodgers is Tyler Glass now. It's going to be imperative for the Jays to get to him early. He's pitched 13 innings in the postseason, 18 strikeouts, only given up 1 earned run. The Jays know if they want success tonight, they need to get Glass now out of the game and focus the Dodgers on their bullpen. That's how they won Game 1, and if they want to win Game 3, they're going to have to do the same thing tonight.
Okay, live at Dodger Stadium, CTV's Rahim Ladani. Thanks a lot. Okay, so Jays manager John Schneider speaking to media right now. Let's go live to L.A.
Such a unique group of people, both sides, not just players. You look at staffs and support staffs and kind of where all these people are from, you know what I mean? And then baseball can just unite you, you know what I mean? It's really cool. And I think that it's very fitting that, these two teams in particular are playing in the World Series. This is the collection of the best players in the world right now. And hopefully we're the last one standing, right? But I mean, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see this kind of collection of players.
Fourth row on your left, John. Jeff?
Bo Bichette's back in the lineup today. very impressive playing second base, good glove, good arm, look good at the plate. Is running and speed kind of the only concern left, maybe?
Yeah, I think that's kind of, it's that and it's like game volume, you know? It's like he missed 7 weeks, so I think just playing will help him kind of get his feet underneath him a little bit and gain a little bit more confidence as he goes with everything the game is going to, you know, ask him to do. So I think as this series goes, you'll probably see him feel a little bit more comfortable when it does come to running and just kind of the overall stamina of the game.
You got a kick out of talking to Max in Game 4 in Seattle. I assume you haven't talked to him today, and will you have security when you talk to him today, later on?
You know what's funny is he's still approachable. You know, I think there's a certain cutoff point, but I talk to him every day. You know, I've said this to you guys, like since spring training, like I kind of always keep a few minutes aside in my day because Max is probably coming into my office about something. But even on days he pitches, you know, he's communicating with me how he feels, what he's trying to do, certain spots of their lineup, you know, and then when the game starts, you know, you can still talk to him in between innings. But I hope I don't have to make a mound visit today, you know, but you know, it's again, if I do, I do. But I think that over the course of this year and this postseason, you know, you're always learning how guys are going to respond. So, I don't think I'll need security if I do have to go out there.
6 rows back on your right, Gregor.
John, Max looked a lot better against the Mariners than he did throughout much of September. Why do you think that was, and how much of a factor was that in deciding to start him today instead of Game 4?
Yeah, I think he's in a better spot physically, you know, than he was probably the last month of the regular season, and able to finish some pitches a little bit more. You know, physically, not arm or thumb. I think just kind of overall, he's had a stiff neck and things like that. So I think having some time to get that in the right spot has helped him. And, you know, deciding on him, I think, where are you physically? Where are you in terms of rest? And who do you want in a situation where there's going to be hoopla, bells and whistles, ceremonies, all that kind of stuff, and who's pitched on, you know, in this stadium before. So it made a lot of sense that he was the guy.
Up front on your left, Ron.
During this month.
All right, that is head coach of Toronto Blue Jays, John Schneider, who seemingly continues to cut the sleeves off all his hoodies. I guess they can't contain the guns, but he was weighing in on Max Scherzer, 41-year-old hurler, former Los Angeles Dodger, just talking about, you know, him starting again. He didn't play in the ALDS at all, and here he is making back-to-back starts in the CS and now the World Series against his former team.
Yeah.
Great stuff. The theater is going to be nuts. And, of course, it's in Hollywood, so it makes sense.
Yeah, but there's a chance for fans to get in on the action if they can fly to L.A.
If they could fly to L.A., that'd be nice. You have 2.5 hours. I think you might miss a couple innings. And we all know L.A. traffic. Driving up to Chavez Ravine will take you a minute. But, yeah, for those fans who can't make it out west, there's watch parties all over the place, including the biggest one at the Rogers Center.
And that's where CP24's Andrew Brennan is live. Andrew.
Yeah, haven't even opened the ballpark. It's weird calling it a ballpark today because there's no. Well, they're watching the game. It's just they're watching the game 5,000 kilometers, 6,000 kilometers away. But it's all going to be happening in here at this Rogers Center. And I was just saying there are already people behind me in line. Not many, but they're dedicated and ready to go. And we've spoken to a lot of different people. I've spoken to people just today. Let's see. We had East Coasters at the beginning. We had Vancouverite who's going to be watching for updates on a flight home tonight. A bunch of people that are going to be watching at their homes because, well, sometimes it's just easier to buy a $4 beer than a $22 beer. But there are plenty of people going inside here. And perhaps the most inspiring that I've met today is Michelle Beer. We spoke to her an hour ago. She had every single decal and pin you could possibly want for the Blue Jays. She was decked out head to toe in blue and white. But, well, let's have Michelle explain some of her story, because the way she describes it as a cancer survivor, as someone who actually fainted on a streetcar a year ago, this team, in her mind, saved her life.
Just to be in the building, especially, I think these are going to be the more fun nights. I know it sounds silly to all the people holding $4,000 tickets right now, but these are the fans. We're the have-nots. We're the ones that are sitting on our couch. We're the ones that sit in the stadium in April and cheer for these boys when they suck. But now we're going to be here, and it's going to be, I think that, immaculate vibes, as the kids say, in that building tonight, because we're the fans. We're just there to cheer on our boys, and it's about the community.
And there is a community behind this team. In fact, many a community across Canada. Like I said, I've been speaking to people from across the country today, some that are actually going to be here for watch parties because, well, this is where they want it to be. And it does make sense because if you're going to be watching a giant screen, actually, I'm not sure. I think the Rogers Centre, when they did the renovations, it's 4 big LED screens attached to one, or maybe that's the old renovation. But regardless of how you get to watch Canada's team in the World Series. And that's something that doesn't happen every day. Back to you all.
Okay, live outside of the Rogers Centre, CP24's Andrew Brennan. With that, it's 5:42. Let's get a check on the evening commute with CP24's traffic specialist, Sajal Nziayaboa.
Hey, Phil. Hey, Bakari. Yeah, things are moving really slowly on most of the major area highways. You have some major problems if your travel's taking you on the northbound 400 into North York and Vaughan. So northbound on the 400, just as you head on the approach, actually north of Finch, it is 1, 2, 3, 4 left lanes blocked at this collision. You do have the right lane and the end of the merge lane from Finch that are getting by. Not ideal for commuters, so it's really backed up off the 401 up towards those problems. Jane, Weston, good routes to get you through. Also problems happening on the westbound 401 in the Express. This is just as you approach the DVP 404. Left lane blocked following an ongoing collision. And checking out the drive on the Gardner, still looking at delays. Not as slow as it was last week. Still busy as you head from York Bay Yonge out to Grand. We still have construction happening through Park Lawn, but the issues between Jameson and Strawn did all clear. That construction wrapped up just this morning. Outside of camera view, we had a car go into a building. So this is impacting Finch just east of Islington. I'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Adra. It is 5:43 right now, 9 degrees. You're watching Live at 5.
Coming up, we're going to take a look at some of the other stories making headlines today, including changes at the border. Canadians traveling to the U.S. will soon have to have your photo taken. The Ford government says it'll invest $1.1 billion over 3 years to expand home care services.
Well, the province says that the funding will connect more patients who no longer need to stay in hospitals to services from nurses, physiotherapists, and other healthcare professionals. It says the investment is needed to ease the strain on hospitals and make sure Ontario's health system can continue to support patients as the population ages. Also, if you're going down to the U.S., maybe you celebrate American Thanksgiving, you will soon need to get your photo taken.
Well, the country is advancing a plan to take a picture of Canadian travelers when they enter and exit the country by air, land, or port. So U.S. Customs and Border Protection has said that it expects to have facial biometric technology in place sometime next year. U.S. officials say that the facial biometrics is going to be used to enhance security and help enforce immigration laws. Photos taken of foreign travelers will remain in a database for up to 75 years. Well, Jamaica's bracing as Hurricane Melissa slowly approaches as a Category 5 storm.
Well, it is forecast to make landfall early tomorrow as the strongest hurricane to hit the island since record-keeping began in 1851. Melissa is expected to unleash catastrophic flooding, landslides, and widespread damage. Meanwhile, back here, it's 5:47. 9 degrees. You're watching Live at 5.
And traffic's flowing again into the city. The Gardner, it has fully reopened between Dufferin and Strawn. This is 18 months ahead of schedule. We're going to have reactions straight ahead.
Welcome back. Hey, rejoice, drivers. The Gardner Expressway fully open between Dufferin and Strawn following very long-term construction.
And Mayor Olivia Chow shared this image of lanes on social media today. Look closely. No images, or rather,
no images of cars.
Images of cars, free of any pylons or barriers, as construction work has officially wrapped up. So the rehabilitation project, it was set to initially wrap up in 2027, but the province spent millions on speeding up the timeline. The highway was closed after Game 2 of the World Series until early this morning to get it ready to officially reopen.
Transportation Minister Pramit Sakaria says this part of the project should be fully completed by November 10th at the latest.
It would be the final sealing component of it from a technical perspective, and that would be the final, if you want to call it, the final coat of the on it. So, and that's for the longevity of the piece of infrastructure. So, done on many other occasions, but weren't able to do it just because we didn't have the full closure on Friday night, Saturday as well.
For reaction, we're joined live by Maddie Semiateki, director of the Infrastructure Institute at the University of Toronto. Maddie, oh my God, we're talking to you about some good news for a change. Okay, listen, what happened? Like, why did it take so long to say, listen, we're going to throw some extra money at this project, work 24/7, get it done sooner?
So first of all, this is great news for commuters. There's been lots of evidence showing that when the project was under construction, when the Gardiner was under construction, it was taking 2 and 3 times longer than it had previously. So the evidence was in. It was really painful for everyone. This was a money decision. When this started, it was a city project. The city has limited resources, and so they weren't able to use some of the techniques to accelerate the project. When they did the deal to upload the Gardiner, then the province came in, they put $73 million of extra money into it, and commuters today are just hugely thankful that this job got done, and now hopefully this highway will move a little bit better.
Yeah, we just got a live look of it. It's not moving too great, but I will say, does this set the precedent potentially for them to finally realize, like, you got to spend money to make money and to get things done quicker?
Oh my God, my heart rate is going up. My blood pressure just watching that congestion right now.
Yeah.
Everyone on there is dreaming that someone comes up with an acceleration approach to make that construction go faster. You know, this was an example where money led to a sort of, I'd call it a brute force approach. We went to like 24-hour construction. I think at this point, we also need to be thinking how we do this smarter, not just working harder. Other places in the world really find ways to accelerate construction, to do these jobs in a week or a month, or even in some cases in a weekend. This was good, but I think we should even be aiming higher.
Yeah, Maddie, along those lines, I mean, we were all just talking about this. There are several other cities all around the world where you see them throw, like, what, $1 million, $2 million, $5 million to incentivize these construction companies to get it done earlier.
Yeah, the money is part of it. Put incentives in place and people will respond. They'll figure out how to go faster, but also to be more innovative. Like in China, when you watch how they build construction, you can watch this on YouTube. They plan the projects really carefully. They bring in huge pieces of equipment and they build the pieces in modules off-site and then crate them in. And they also have just lots of people working on the jobs. It's not just in China. It's also in the Netherlands. I watched a video of them building a new tunnel under a highway in a weekend. And again, they built the tunnel off site and then they just wheeled it into place and then rebuilt the highway on top. They are thinking differently about how they go about it. And I think we're at the point where we can't keep just doing things the same way over and over. It's costing our city too much. We need to be able to think differently. This will just unlock so many opportunities for us.
It's almost like our government doesn't have the internet. Like, do they not have YouTube at City Hall and Queen's Park to figure this? It's very strange. Anyways, Maddie Semiateki, director of Infrastructure Institute at the University of Toronto. Hopefully they watch this and they turn on that thing on their desk and log on and go on the internet, figure stuff out. Thank you.
It's 5:54, 9 degrees. This is Live at 5.
Even though the Jays are on the road, fans can still gather here to watch games. We'll have all the details of the Toronto watch parties. There's Nathan Phillips Square. That's not New Year's Eve. That's a watch party for the Blue Jays.
Okay, so look, if you can't go to L.A., if you can't get tickets to the Rogers Center, which is sold out for the watch party, the City of Toronto has a little bit of a party, you can say. A free watch party is happening at Nathan Phillips Square.
Yeah, I wasn't sure it would be popular, but CP24's Melissa Duggan is there, and I've seen some footage. It looks like an outdoor rave.
This is definitely a great place to check out the game. Phil and Bakari, as you mentioned, it is free. This is the Bird's Nest, by the way, is what they're calling it at Nathan Phillips Square. The game is going to be shown on this screen right here. Of course, it starts at 8 o'clock tonight. So we got about a couple of hours to go before the game. But a couple of big fans already have the best seats in the house. Hello there. Tell me why you came out here nice and early.
We're just hoping Toronto wins. We wanted to get the best seats here.
Oh, and you've got them. Absolutely. Listen, what are you hoping from this game tonight?
Just a memory, just a really good memory. Win or lose, they've made it this far, so I just want a really good memory.
And why is downtown the place you wanted to come and see the game?
Honestly, I haven't ever seen a World Series, so I'm just hoping that a lot of people show up so we can really feel that energy.
Oh yeah, definitely share the experience. Thanks so much for that. I see you've got your warm drinks. Of course, it's going to be a bit of a chilly evening. The advice we're getting from the City of Toronto, by the way, is you might want to bring your own chair. You might want to bring your own blanket as well to stay nice and warm. Expect the Toronto sign to be lit up in blue and white. We have got some food trucks here as well, too, to take it all in. So we expect this area to be filled up over the next little while as plenty of Blue Jays fans come out to the heart of the city to join in all this fun. And of course, all of the games that are going to be part of the World Series as long as it goes on till maybe Game 7, we'll find out about that pretty soon, are all going to be shown here. And again, Phil and Bakari is free. The game kicking off at 8 o'clock.
All right, Melissa Duggan, DJs, food trucks, trivia, giveaway, Nathan Phillips Square. It's all happening right there. It's 5:59, 9 degrees. This is Toronto's breaking news, CP24. CTV News at 6 is next.